My name is Obi Pascal. In this video, I'm going to show you one of the pitfalls you might actually fall into if you're relatively new in Node.js. So in this code here, you can see I have a class where I have a method called getFollowing. So what this method does actually, it retrieves an array of users who follows a particular users. So you can see that at this point here, I'm getting that a pagination array, a pagination array. Down here at this section from line 508, I'm trying to look through that array. So the array contains an IDs, object IDs of users actually who follow a particular user. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm looping through that array and then retrieve the user from the user table and assigning them to this population following array. The reason why I didn't use the normal MongoDB populated is because I'm using an aggregated pipeline. So with aggregated pipeline, it doesn't really give you options to use a populated, call the populated MongoDB method. Now, here is one of the pitfalls you might fall into. Now you can see that at this point here, I said for each, and I pass in this async callback and then an await inside the for each loop, and then trying to fetch the user object. This is one of the pitfalls you might fall into. Do not use this approach. If you use this approach, when consuming this method, you will realize that the populated following is actually going to end up being empty. Yeah. So when you call it, let's say I wait, get following, pass the user ID, the number of record to return, and then the page number, it's going to return an empty array. So the best way to do this would be saying a for of. So you say for, yeah, you use this method. So instead of this one here, you rather, instead of this particular code here, you rather use this particular code. So do not use this approach. Do not use this approach. Do not use this approach at all. So you rather want to use this rather. All right. So the reason is because the way Node.js work is that this for each loop is not going to wait for the inner await function, a promise function to execute properly before the function execution terminates. It does not wait for the inner promise to execute completely. But this for each loop, for of loop, actually waits for the inner function to evaluate to a particular value, to resolve to a value, and then before it goes to the next value in the array, and do that all over again while populating these populated following. So when you call this method, you're going to see the result as expected. So for example, I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to delete this, and then we're going to run a test script. We're going to run a test script right now to see if we are actually going to get anything out of this. So you can see I'm gonna log the result of this. You can see I'm calling that method await get following. So I'm gonna log that. So if I do, we are going to see if the outcome is going to be true. So I'm gonna go down. So I'm gonna execute this. All right, guys, our test has run. Actually, it's not successful. So let's see our log. So you can see that the log is returning an empty array. So there's nothing here. But it's showing here that the total docs is actually one item on the document. But yet we are seeing an empty array. That's because this particular method here, this for each loop or map, the same thing goes to map and for each. It does not wait for the inner promise to actually resolve before terminating that. So let's change this and use the for of loop. So let's use the for of loop. Actually, I'm gonna so I'm gonna go get rid of this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and run the test again. Okay, let's wait for the test to finish. Alright guys, our test is actually resolved, although it's actually a failed test because we didn't actually update all the test case. But the main point here that we can see that the docs is actually returning an object, a user object. So you can see that there's a user object return. So we can see that using the for off load actually waits for the inner promise to actually evaluate before returning everything. So guys, this is one of the pitfalls. I just wanted to share this so that you don't fall a victim of it if you're relatively new to Node.js. So thank you for watching my video. I do appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you some other time.